Any questions? Okay, I'll continue with this philosophical discussion about science. Let me start by showing you where the textbook, the course notes are. We are on 2 course. If you click learning modules, go back. If you click learning modules, we will put here various materials for the course. And the draft textbook is here. For the first month or so, we'll be studying mechanics. So that's in a separate PDF file. Okay. At the moment, we still have last term's file. Since then, we have added a few more problems. We have edited a little bit. On Wednesday, the new version will be available. Hard copies at Canon, and we'll upload the new PDF here. Okay? At the beginning of this is the course chapters, course content list, of course. We have a table of the fundamental constants, just the numbers that we'll use. You don't have to memorize these things. Okay? We will have here some other symbols. We will also put on the web a glossary, bir özet sözlük, for Turkish equivalents of some technical science terms that we use in the course. In the previous version, these were given in footnotes. We decided to take out all those footnotes, just make 1 page, which will contain what is the English and what is the Turkish for various concepts, so you can find it in a handy place. Okay. Okay, this is here with arrows is a summary, kind of simple flow chart of how science works. Okay, this you've probably seen before. There's a prediction, hypothesis, öngörü. What will happen if I want to learn about some aspect of nature? Okay. And I have some guess. Under such conditions, this is how the machine works. Okay? Then I design an experiment. Here you have to be clever. What kind of observation, what kind of experiment will give me a way to learn whether this prediction is right or wrong? How can I check that it is not due to some other causes, errors, etc.? So this is an important part of science, how to design the experiments cleverly, and then you test it. If it's verified, just like you write a flow chart for a computer program, come back, test it again. Maybe not me personally, somebody else. Okay? Then you go into a loop in the computer program. You do it again and again, and if it's enough number of times, tested by different methods, different people, but same conditions. Okay? Then you say, well, okay, this is, in quotes, true. What does that mean? As I tried to explain, it means up to now, in a very large number of times, it has not yet turned out to be false. Which means as true can be. Okay. From this philosophical discussion, you see that there is no better truth than that. Empirically, if you are talking about truth about the world, you learn by looking at it. And if you have seen something the same a very large number of times, that's as much as you can know that it's true. There is still no guarantee that the n+1 time it will not be true. But so far, every scientific or daily life observation that has turned out to be true a very, very large number of times has continued to turn out to be true the next time and the next time and the next time. That's our collective experience of all human culture. That it works the world. We can interact with the world this way. All right? Now, I interpret this word, this sentence, hayat en hakiki mürşit ilimdir, which you have heard, and it's a kind of ritual, and nobody thinks about it. It sort of has become empty. But if you think about it, I would like to interpret it as en hakiki, means it doesn't say that there are no other truths. It doesn't say that only truth or absolute truth. It's en hakiki, and that's certainly what we can say about the philosophical position of science. It is verifiable, okay, and it is as far as you can go. Something can't be more true than being true in the past and times. You don't know that anything is true before the next time, okay? And another quote that I like to make is something that Galileo is supposed to have said. We will learn about the life of Galileo. We will read about it in this course. Because his life, he essentially laid the foundations of physical science, as well as very consciously developing the scientific method. Philosophers before him, like Francis Bacon, but also before that, even from ancient times, because of this common sense nature of science, okay, East and West all over the world knew about the importance of experience. But Galileo was the person who really laid out that you have to make designed experiments, you have to make a control, a comparison. If I do it this way, it happens. If I don't do it this way, if I change this or that condition, how does the result change? Systematic design of experiments. So that's more than a philosophical discussion of the experimental method. Galileo produced the first example, very clear example, of designing experiments and using the scientific method. Okay? And as you know, there is this famous story that Galileo was tried by the Inquisition, by the church. This story is sort of complicated because it is not very simple. It's not like Galileo was a hero and all the people, these religious people and authorities in the church were complete stupid bigots and they were just being against the it was unfair and so on. It was more complicated than that. There were people who were really Galileo's enemies for various reasons. There were people who were really bigoted, not just the church, not only for religious reasons, but also for philosophical beliefs, because what he was saying, it was a new way of approaching knowledge, which seemed to contradict, or really contradicted, what ancient authorities, like Aristotle, etc., said. It doesn't also follow either that the earlier philosophers of antiquity, or the medieval philosophers of Christianity or Islam were stupid either. They were also very clever people. But the difference with Galileo was, he was doing experiments, whereas they were thinking, it must be so. And that is also not because these old people were stupid. It was because the possible way of testing for example, measuring time, doing these experiments, was not available. And within their limited experience, the whole discussion of whether the earth was round or not was possible because it was not yet possible to make a clear designed experiment. So the background to Galileo's being tried is not very simple. It's not black and white. But it is true that he was tried and he was censored. Okay? There were people among the older scholars in the church, among the princes